Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's conversation cuts deep but is necessary for any man who's ever wondered why respect seems to fade in a relationship slowly, no matter how much effort he puts in. Have you ever found yourself bending over backward to keep the peace, constantly agreeing to avoid conflict, or quietly putting your needs and goals on the shelf to keep her happy? You're not alone. But here's the hard truth. Respect isn't lost in one dramatic moment. It erodes quietly through small choices and unnoticed patterns. Some men naturally earn respect without saying a word, while others, despite their best intentions, are overlooked, taken for granted, or even pushed aside. This video is here to help you understand why. We will unpack 7 key behaviors that quietly destroy respect in a relationship, habits many men fall into without realizing the damage. More importantly, you'll learn how to shift these patterns and rebuild deep, lasting respect that fosters trust, attraction, and emotional connection. If you've ever felt like something is off in your relationship, or you're tired of feeling like you're giving everything and getting very little in return, this video is for you. Stick with me until the end because we're not just identifying the problems, we're offering real, practical solutions to help you turn things around. Let's get started. 1. Being a yes man. A man who can't say no slowly teaches a woman that he can't lead himself. She doesn't need to hear yes to everything. What she's listening for is whether you stand for something, whether you have a spine when it counts. When every decision bends to her preference and every opinion is filtered through fear of upsetting her, what begins as attentiveness quickly turns into erosion. She may not say it, but she feels it. She sees you canceling plans with your friends without hesitation. She watches you abandon the gym, your hobbies, and your pace to stay in sync with hers. And somewhere in that process, she loses the man she was initially drawn to, not because you became less kind, but because you became less you. Women don't respect endless agreements. They respect direction. When you offer a different opinion calmly, say no with presence, defend your time and values without apology. You don't push her away, you invite her into something more substantial. You show her that you're a man she can lean on, not one who leans entirely on her approval to function. It's not conflict she fears, it's emptiness. It's unsettling that you're only staying agreeable to keep her close, and deep down she knows that kind of closeness is fragile. If your identity is built on pleasing her, undoing it won't take much. Say no when it matters. Say what you believe. Let her meet the man who lives by a code, even if it occasionally collides with her mood. You're not there to follow. You're there to walk beside her as an equal with a voice, not a shadow. As the saying goes, a man who never disagrees isn't understanding, he's disappearing. And eventually she'll stop listening, not because she's tired of hearing you, but because there's nothing left to hear. 2. Apologizing too much. In the beginning, it was the right approach. You want to show her you care, that you're easygoing and understanding. So when something feels off, you say sorry. When she's upset, even if it's not about you, you say sorry. You find yourself offering apologies like spare change handed out without much thought. But over time, something shifts and is not in your favor. Over-apologizing is rarely about the moment itself. It's a signal, a quiet pattern that reveals more than words. When a man says sorry too often, especially for things outside his control, what she hears isn't compassion, it's self-doubt. and nothing chips away at attraction more subtly than the slow reveal of insecurity. You think you're showing empathy, but she questions your strength. You're trying to be emotionally present, but what she sees is emotional fragility. Women don't want perfection, but they're drawn to stability, emotional steadiness. A man who apologizes for everything feels unsure of himself, and that unease spreads. She begins to see you not as grounded, but as someone seeking approval rather than respect. Saying sorry when you haven't done wrong is like taking blame for the weather. It's unnecessary and quietly damaging. It lowers your perceived value in her eyes and shifts the dynamic away from balance. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to prove itself. It shows up when you own your space without shrinking whenever there's tension. When something is genuinely your fault, take responsibility without hesitation. A genuine apology carries weight because it's rare and honest, but when sorry becomes your reflex, it loses all meaning. It becomes background noise in a relationship that slowly wears down your presence. Instead of sorry, try offering support. Say "I hear you," or "that sounds frustrating," when she's venting about her day. Respond with calm action, not constant apology. Show her you care through how you show up, not how often you say you messed up. That shift from passive regret to active support changes her feelings around you. It builds respect rather than soft pity. As the saying goes, never apologize for being strong enough to stand firm when it matters. Practice confidence in small ways every day. Speak clearly. Move with intention. Stop seeking forgiveness for existing. In the end, what draws her in isn't a man who says sorry for everything. It's a man who knows when to say it and when to stand tall in silence. 3. Neglecting your own life for her. At first, she may love the attention, your constant availability, willingness to drop everything for her, and eagerness to please. It feels romantic and flattering. But what begins as devotion can quickly start to feel like dependence. And when a man begins to orbit a woman's world instead of standing firm on his own, he quietly erodes the very thing that attracted her to him in the first place, his sense of self. You stop going to the gym, you miss nights out with your friends, you pause your ambitions, put off your projects, and start saying yes to things you'd never say yes to before, all because you don't want to risk losing her. But in doing that, you start losing yourself, and she notices. She may not say it out loud, but the man she once admired, the one with drive, direction, and discipline, begins to fade. What replaces him is someone she doesn't fully respect, even if he's always by her side. Women are drawn to men who move with purpose, not purpose centered around her, but a deeper purpose that existed long before she entered his life and will continue whether she stays. When you abandon that for her, you stop being a grounded presence and become emotionally weightless. Easy to sway, easy to control, easy to overlook. Attraction isn't fueled by proximity. It's driven by polarity. And that polarity fades when a man sacrifices his edge, mission, and independence. She loved not how often you texted, but how alive you were in your own life. The goals you chased, the standards you held, and the boundaries you kept were part of your magnetism. When those disappear, so does the tension that makes the relationship feel electric. There is a simple truth. She wants to be part of your world, not your entire world. When you let go of the friendships, passions, and pursuits that made you whole, you unintentionally send the message that you are incomplete without her, and no one wants the pressure of being someone's entire identity. The fix is not about pulling away, it's about rising back up. Reclaim your time, your goals, and your sense of direction. Show her that while you value her presence, you do not depend on it to feel complete. Be the man who returns to his mission not out of rebellion, but out of alignment with who he truly is. Because the man who keeps growing, the man who keeps evolving, and the man who protects his time and energy with quiet strength are the men she won't easily forget. And more importantly, that is the man who won't lose himself again. 4. Avoiding decisions/indecisiveness. When she constantly finds herself having to make the decisions, the dinner plans, the weekend activities, even the choice of where to go on vacation, it's easy for her to start feeling overwhelmed. And the burden of choice, especially when it falls on her repeatedly, doesn't just cause stress, it erodes respect. She begins to wonder why she's the one always in charge. Why isn't he taking charge? Why does it feel like every decision is up to her? Indecisiveness doesn't just make her question the logistics, it makes her question your ability to lead. Women crave direction not because they want to relinquish control, but because they need to feel grounded in a relationship. When she's always directing the flow, it sends a silent but powerful message. He can't lead. But it doesn't have to be this way. Leadership doesn't mean controlling every move, but confidently offering clarity and direction. Instead of waiting for her to make the call, suggest and leave room for her input. Let's do this, unless you have a better idea. It's simple but effective. You take charge of the situation while showing openness to her opinion. It's a balance between guiding and listening. When you do this in both small and big choices, she begins to feel the steadiness of your leadership and the freedom to contribute her thoughts without the pressure of deciding everything. Making decisions isn't just about being authoritative. It's about showing that you can make choices that lead to growth and a better future for both of you. Decisions, even the small ones, are a window into your ability to lead the relationship. When she feels you can take charge and trust her input, it doesn't just lighten her load, but strengthens your connection. Leadership is not about being in charge. It's about taking charge and bringing others along. She must know you can steer the ship when the waves get rough. This decisiveness isn't about control, but creating security and trust. And when she feels that security, she's more likely to lean in, support your decisions, and trust you as a partner. 5. Seeking constant validation. Constantly seeking validation might seem harmless at first. A simple question like, "Do you like me?" or "Am I doing okay?" could feel like just a way to check in, a small request for reassurance. But over time, these questions can reveal something more profound, a neediness rooted in insecurity. It's an emotional hunger that is never truly satisfied, no matter how much affirmation is given. For a woman, this need for constant validation can be draining. What starts as a brief moment of uncertainty evolves into a repeated cycle where her approval becomes the cornerstone of his self-worth. And it's hard to respect someone who is constantly questioning their value. When a man relies too much on external validation to feel secure, it chips away at the trust and respect crucial to any healthy relationship. A woman doesn't want to be in a position where her approval only makes him feel confident. She wants to be with someone who knows his worth without needing constant reminders. It's the difference between needing to hear "I love you" every few hours and knowing that love is there even in the quiet moments when no words are spoken. Actions speak louder than words, and a man who is sure of himself doesn't need to ask if he's doing well, he shows it. The fix is simple in theory but challenging in practice. Build inner confidence. Know your worth without the need for validation from others. Stand firm in your own identity and trust that the right people will value you for who you truly are. The more secure you become, the less you'll need approval. Your presence will speak for itself, and when a woman sees a man who knows who he is and doesn't need constant reassurance, she'll respect him in ways that no validation could ever provide. Confidence isn't thinking you're better than anyone else. It's knowing you don't have to prove it. And when you start living by this principle, you'll find that the approval you sought before comes naturally, not because you asked for it, but because you earned it. 6. Jealousy and controlling behavior. There's a subtle shift that happens when jealousy creeps in. At first it may seem harmless, just a casual question about a male friend or a comment on how she talks to others. But over time this behavior evolves from curiosity to something more controlling, more possessive. He monitors her phone, asking where and who she's been with, as if every interaction outside him threatens their bond's foundation. What begins as insecurity slowly turns into a cage, tightening its grip around her freedom. The problem isn't the fear of losing her, it's the need to control her to avoid that loss. This behavior isn't a sign of love, it's a sign of fear, and while fear may seem like a protective instinct, it suffocates the very thing it seeks to protect: trust. When you start demanding loyalty through surveillance or questioning her every move, you're not creating safety, you're dismantling it. What should be a relationship built on mutual respect turns into one built on control, and the more you try to dominate her choices, the more distant she'll become. A woman cannot feel safe when her autonomy is constantly questioned. Emotional safety isn't about proving your loyalty or controlling your environment. It's about creating space for both people to exist freely and securely within the relationship. Trust isn't something that can be coerced or demanded. It must be given freely, without fear or strings attached. When trust is present, so is respect. And when that respect is mutual, it creates a foundation where both partners feel safe to be vulnerable and open with each other. If the jealousy and controlling behavior persist, the relationship begins to erode. She will start to feel trapped, suffocated by someone who believes love is something to be owned rather than shared. Her loyalty isn't in question, your behavior is making her question it. She may try to appease you initially, but eventually she'll realize that what's being sacrificed isn't just her freedom, it's her dignity. The fix is simple yet often complex. Trust her or walk away. You can't force loyalty from someone who doesn't feel emotionally safe. Set boundaries, not cages. A healthy relationship is about respect, not ownership. When you trust and respect her, you create a space where both of you can grow. Anything less isn't love. It's a prison built on fear. 7. Lack of goals, drive, or passion. There's something undeniably magnetic about a man who moves with purpose. It's not about the size of his paycheck or the title on his business card. It's about the energy he brings. A man with ambition, direction, and clear goals exudes a quiet confidence that draws her in. He's not waiting for life to happen to him. He's making it happen. This kind of momentum is intoxicating. It creates a sense of anticipation and excitement, a promise that life with him will always be enjoyable, unpredictable, and full of potential. Without that drive, however, a man quickly fades into the background. When there's no passion, ambition, or pursuit of something more significant than the moment at hand, he begins to lose her attention. It's not just about career success or material gains. It's about how a man approaches life. If he's not striving toward personal growth, a creative passion, or a fitness goal, he becomes predictable, and predictability breeds boredom. A woman doesn't want to feel like she's in a relationship with someone stuck in neutral. She needs to feel like the man beside her is a force in the world, someone whose life has momentum and is constantly evolving. A man without goals doesn't just lack excitement, he lacks potential. She'll see that and feel the absence of something crucial. It's not that she's seeking a man who's already made it, or amid a breakthrough. What she's looking for is someone who's moving toward something. It doesn't matter if it's career success, or something as simple as improving his physical health, learning a new skill, or even taking up a new hobby. What matters is that he's engaged with life, on a journey of growth and development, and committed to continually bettering himself. It's magnetic when a man grows, evolves, and strives towards something more. Growth creates energy, and energy is the lifeblood of attraction. It's not about perfection, and it's certainly not about having everything figured out. It's about the direction. It's about a man who can look ahead and see endless possibilities, keep challenging himself, and never lose that spark. She needs to know that fire in his eyes, the fire that tells her he won't settle. He will always strive for more in his work, passions, or relationships. That fire doesn't just attract her, it keeps her. A man who's in motion keeps her intrigued, keeps her engaged. She sees him evolving, and in turn she evolves with him. But when he stops, becomes complacent, and no longer pushes forward, she starts to lose interest. A relationship that doesn't challenge her or spark new thoughts, new experiences, or new growth becomes one where she feels stuck. And a woman who feels stuck in a relationship will begin to drift. It's simple. A man evolving is a man she'll keep chasing. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to have all the answers, but you do need to have direction. If she can see that you're constantly moving forward, whether in your personal life, career, or passions, she'll want to keep walking beside you. But if you're standing still, she'll lose interest. Ambition, drive, and the desire to grow are more than just attractive qualities. They're essential. They're the things that keep a woman excited, engaged, and invested in the relationship. So don't forget to keep moving, keep growing, keep striving for something more, because as long as you're evolving, she'll be ready to chase what comes next. Conclusion. You cannot force or beg for respect. It's something you earn through your daily actions, mindset, and how you carry yourself. When a man consistently sacrifices his boundaries, apologizes for his existence, or lives solely to please someone else, he slowly erodes the foundation of respect and attraction. The truth is, a woman cannot fully respect a man who doesn't respect himself. But the good news is that it's never too late to turn things around. By letting go of these 7 habits and choosing to lead with strength, clarity, and purpose, you begin to reclaim not just her respect, but your self-worth. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about returning to the man you were always meant to be: decisive, confident, driven, and unapologetically grounded. Remember, the most magnetic men live with purpose and direction. Men who don't chase validation, but attract admiration. So as you move forward, ask yourself not how to get her to accept you, but how to become the kind of man she would naturally want to follow. I'd love to hear from you. Have you struggled with any of these habits? What helped you grow past them? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more powerful insights on relationships, masculinity, and personal growth. See you in the next one.